Well, for example, Alicia, one of them released late last month showed that if students wear their mask, community transmission is more likely to happen out and about in the community as opposed to inside schools themselves. Now, that study was taken out of rural Wisconsin. Meanwhile, here in Detroit Community Public School District, they are eyeing early to mid-March for a possible return to in-person learning. Meanwhile, a teacher at another district in Metro Detroit says she's not quite ready to return.
I think that they're kind of rushing it.
Susie Horowitz, a preschool teacher in West Bloomfield, says she isn't planning to return to the classroom until she has both doses of the COVID vaccine. Governor Whitmer has said she'd like to see schools reopen for in-person learning by March 1st.
That safe reopening does not suggest that teachers need to be vaccinated in order to reopen safely.
The head of the CDC says despite the center putting teachers in the 1B category for the vaccine,
vaccination of teachers is not a prerequisite for safe reopening of schools.
In a recent opinion piece in the Journal of the American Medical Association, CDC researchers point to a study of 11 school districts in North Carolina open for face-to-face learning for 9 weeks during the fall. In-school transmissions were rare, and the study found no cases of student-to-staff transmission. They also referenced a case study in Mississippi among children up to 18, both with and without the virus. It found in-person school attendance didn't pose an increased risk of infection, but attending gatherings outside the home and having visitors inside the home did increase the risk. The researchers strongly suggest face masks in schools and say most of the cases of transmission in school are linked to not wearing face coverings. President Biden has promised nearly all K-8 schools will reopen for in-person learning during his first 100 days in office.
It's not that everything's going to be fine. There's always the chance for risk, but there's also a big risk with the kids falling behind and their mental capacity as well.
But Horowitz says she's in no rush.
I would feel more comfortable having the vaccine than not having it.
Now, school sports, that's been a hot button issue here in Michigan. CDC researchers do suggest limiting indoor sports in schools because they say those activities do pose an increased risk of transmission. Reporting live this morning in Detroit, Jen Shantz, 7 Action News.